Anxiety screams for control, but peace is born the moment you surrender to God.
There are battles that leave no scars on the skin, but carve wounds so deep inside the soul, no one sees the bleeding. Anxiety is one of them. It comes quietly. It does not knock. It does not announce itself with thunder. It whispers. It sits beside you in the dark. It tightens your chest at 2 a.m. It replays tomorrow's problems before tomorrow even exists. It shows you disasters that haven't happened and convinces you they already have. And the most terrifying part? It makes you believe you are alone. But what if I told you that more than 2,000 years ago, inside a cold Roman prison cell, a man chained between guards wrote words so powerful they still break the grip of anxiety today? This man had every reason to panic. He faced uncertainty, rejection, persecution, and the possibility of execution. His future was not unclear. It was dangerous. His body was confined. His freedom was gone. His reputation attacked. His death could be imminent. And yet, he wrote something almost impossible. Do not be anxious about anything. Those words were written by Paul the Apostle in a letter to the believers in Philippi, recorded in Epistle to the Philippians, chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. But how can a man in chains command peace? How can someone surrounded by uncertainty speak about calm? How can someone staring at possible death tell others not to be anxious about anything? That is the mystery, and hidden inside it is the key to defeating anxiety. Not temporarily, not emotionally, but spiritually. Because anxiety is not only psychological, it is spiritual warfare over your mind. The verse continues, "But in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Guard. That word is not poetic. It is military. Paul was writing to a Roman colony. The believers in Philippi understood what a garrison was. They knew what it meant for soldiers to stand watch over a city gate, preventing intruders from entering. Paul was saying something radical. God's peace stands like armed soldiers around your heart and mind. But here is the tension. If peace is available, why do so many believers still feel imprisoned by anxiety? If the promise is real, why does fear still whisper at night? If God guards the mind, why do intrusive thoughts still storm the gates? The answer is hidden in the process Paul describes. He does not say anxiety vanishes automatically. He reveals a spiritual exchange, and most people miss it. Anxiety begins with control. Look closely at your fear. Strip it down. Beneath worry about finances is control. Beneath worry about health is control. Beneath worry about relationships is control. Beneath worry about the future is control. Anxiety screams, "What if I lose control?" Prayer whispers, "You were never in control." And that realization is terrifying until it becomes freeing. Paul does not say ignore your problems. He does not say pretend everything is fine. He does not say suppress your emotions. He says in everything, not in spiritual things only, not in church things only, in everything. The bills, the diagnosis, the betrayal, the uncertainty, the waiting, the sleepless nights. In everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. This is not casual prayer. This is surrender. There is a difference between saying a prayer and making your request known to God. One is ritual. The other is release. Anxiety thrives in secrecy. It grows in unspoken fears. It feeds on thoughts that never reach the light. When Paul says, "Let your requests be made known," he describes exposure, bringing hidden fear into God's presence, naming it, handing it over. But many stop there. They pray once, and when peace does not instantly flood their emotions, they assume it failed. But Paul uses continuous language in everything, by prayer, by supplication, with thanksgiving. This is a lifestyle, not a moment. Imagine a soldier standing guard. He does not protect the city for 5 minutes and leave. He remains. In the same way, prayer is not a one-time transaction. It is constant repositioning of the heart. Anxiety returns because control returns. You give it to God at night and take it back in the morning. You surrender it in worship and reclaim it in silence. You trust Him in church and question Him in the dark. And so the battle continues. But what if the key is not trying harder to feel peace, but understanding how peace works? Paul says the peace of God surpasses all understanding. It does not make sense. It is not logical. It does not align with circumstances. It is not based on visible outcomes. It surpasses understanding. You can still have unanswered questions and have peace. You can still face uncertainty and have peace. You can still walk through loss and have peace. But this peace is not natural. It is supernatural. Many try to defeat anxiety with information, more planning, more strategies, more reassurance, more control. But anxiety is not defeated by more answers. It is defeated by trust. And trust feels like falling. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff in darkness. You cannot see the bottom. You cannot see what is ahead. All you know is that God says, "Step." Every instinct screams no. Your mind calculates risk. Your heart races. Your body freezes. That is anxiety. It is the clash between God's voice and your need for certainty. But what if anxiety is not just an enemy? What if it is an invitation? An invitation to deeper surrender. An invitation to stronger faith. An invitation to discover a dimension of God's peace you have never experienced. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of God in the middle of them. Paul did not write Philippians from comfort. He wrote it from confinement. He did not preach peace from safety. He declared it from chains. That changes everything. It means the promise is not circumstantial. It is covenantal. It is not based on environment. It is based on relationship with Christ. But something unsettling remains. If Paul experienced peace in prison, why do so many believers struggle in freedom? If his chains could not steal his calm, why does a single email ruin your day? If execution did not destroy his stability, why does tomorrow's meeting steal your sleep? The answer exposes something uncomfortable. We often want God's peace without God's process. We want the guard without surrender. We want the calm without the exchange. But Paul gives a sequence. First, refuse anxiety. Do not be anxious about anything. Not denial, a decision. Choosing not to let anxiety rule. Second, redirect anxiety. But in everything, by prayer. Instead of spiraling inward, lift it upward. Instead of rehearsing fear, release it. Third, replace anxiety with thanksgiving. This is misunderstood. Thanksgiving in uncertainty feels unnatural. How can you thank God before the answer arrives? Because thanksgiving shifts your focus from what you fear losing to what God has already proven. It reminds you of past faithfulness. It anchors you in memory. Anxiety says, "What if God doesn't come through?" Thanksgiving says, "He already has." Anxiety feeds on future imagination. Thanksgiving feeds on past evidence. When past evidence collides with future fear, something stabilizes inside you. Paul says, "The peace of God will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." He separates heart and mind for a reason. The mind is where thoughts attack. The heart is where emotions react. Anxiety begins in the mind and infects the heart. A thought appears. What if you fail? What if they leave? What if this goes wrong? The mind entertains it. The heart responds with fear. The body reacts with tension. Soon, anxiety feels physical. When peace guards the mind, it intercepts the thought before it becomes a storm. When it guards the heart, it stabilizes emotion before it spirals. If peace stands guard, something is trying to invade. Anxiety is not random. It is strategic. It aims at your identity. It questions your security. It attacks your trust in God. The battlefield is invisible. You can sit in a crowded room and fight it alone. You can smile publicly and crumble privately. You can worship loudly and still hear fear whisper. This verse is not shallow encouragement. It is a survival manual. Because anxiety reveals where you place your hope. If your hope is in stability, uncertainty will terrify you. If your hope is in approval, rejection will crush you. If your hope is in health, sickness will devastate you. If your hope is in control, unpredictability will suffocate you. But if your hope is in Christ, even prison cannot steal your peace. Hope in Christ is easy to declare until Christ allows uncertainty. Paul did not know if he would be released. He did not know if he would die.
He did not know how his story would unfold.
Yet he wrote about peace. His peace was not tied to outcomes. It was tied to presence. So here is the question. Do you trust God's presence more than you fear your circumstances? Anxiety grows when circumstances feel bigger than God's nearness. It shrinks when His nearness feels bigger than your fear. How do you move from knowing this verse to experiencing it at 2 a.m. when your mind refuses to rest? Paul gives the structure, but hides something deeper between the lines. A secret forged in suffering, a revelation born in confinement, a perspective that turned a prison cell into a sanctuary. To uncover it, we must step inside that cell. Hear the chains, feel the cold walls, sit in the uncertainty. What Paul discovered there was not theoretical. It was tested. And what he learned in chains is the weapon you need in your darkest night. It is not willpower, not positivity, not denial. It is something far more radical, something that dismantles anxiety at its root. The chains clink again in the darkness. Torchlight flickers against stone. A Roman guard shifts down the corridor, armor scraping softly. The air is damp. The night is long. And in that uncertainty, Paul keeps writing. Not about escape, not about revenge, not about strategy, but about joy. How can a man in chains speak of joy? How can someone facing execution command others to rejoice? Because something happened in that cell most believers never experience in comfort. Paul lost control and discovered something greater. When control dies, peace is born. Anxiety survives on the illusion that you are responsible for outcomes. If you think enough, plan enough, anticipate enough, you can prevent disaster. But prison stripped Paul of that illusion. He could not influence the court. He could not schedule release. He could not control opinion. He could not guarantee tomorrow. All he had was Christ. And that is where anxiety breaks. Anxiety says, you must secure your future. Faith says, your future is already secured. As long as you believe peace comes from securing outcomes, anxiety will follow you. You will pray, but still try to manage everything. Declare trust, but obsess over possibilities. Speak faith, but rehearse worst-case scenarios. Paul's peace was rooted in a radical shift of ownership. He no longer saw his life as his to protect. He wrote, "For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain." That sentence terrifies anxiety, because anxiety's greatest weapon is fear of loss. Loss of control, loss of health, loss of reputation, loss of security, loss of life. But if even death cannot steal what you treasure most, what power does anxiety have? When Christ becomes your ultimate treasure, anxiety loses leverage. If your identity is in success, failure will shatter you. If in relationships, rejection will destabilize you. If in stability, uncertainty will paralyze you. But if your identity is in Christ, nothing external can dethrone your peace. Do not be anxious about anything, not because nothing bad can happen, but because nothing can separate you from Christ. Anxiety's deeper fear is separation from what makes you feel safe. But Paul had settled this. Prison did not separate him from Christ. Chains did not separate him. Even death would not. Once that was settled, anxiety lost its foundation. Picture the scene. The cell is silent. The verdict pending. What would you think? God, why? God, where are you? What if this ends badly? Those are anxiety's whispers. But Paul had faced storms before. Beaten, shipwrecked, rejected, hunted. Each time, God carried him through. So when he says, with thanksgiving, it is memory. Thanksgiving is not pretending everything is fine. It is remembering God has been faithful. Anxiety uses selective memory. It replays pain, magnifies failure. But thanksgiving replays rescue, answered prayers, unexpected provision. Anxiety imagines a future without God's intervention. Thanksgiving recalls a past filled with it. When those collide, peace rises. Paul says peace will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Notice the location. In Christ. Not in outcomes. Not in reassurance. Union with Christ changes perception. From outside, the prison looked like confinement. From heaven's view, it was positioning. From those chains came letters that still rescue millions. Paul could not see the impact, but he trusted the one who did. You see discomfort. God sees design. You see pain. God sees purpose. You see the unanswered question. God sees the completed story. Anxiety demands understanding now. Peace trusts God already understands. When anxiety whispers, what if everything falls apart? Faith replies, even if it does, God remains. When anxiety whispers, what if this ends in loss? Faith answers, even loss cannot separate me from Christ. Here is the turning point. Paul did not suppress thought. He redirected it. Whatever is true, honorable, just, pure. Think about these things. Anxiety is fueled by unchecked imagination. It rehearses conversations that never happened. It anticipates disasters that may never come. Paul commands, choose what you dwell on. What fills your mind shapes your heart. Your mind is a doorway. Anxiety knocks. What if you fail? What if they reject you? What if God doesn't answer? Peace stands guard, but you decide what enters. If fear speaks unchecked, it grows louder. If confronted with truth, it weakens. What if I fail? God's grace is sufficient. What if they reject me? My identity is secure in Christ. What if this goes wrong? God works all things for good. Anxiety is not defeated by ignoring it. It is defeated by truth. When you pray, you shift the burden. When you give thanks, you shift focus. When you meditate on truth, you shift your mind. When all three align, peace begins to guard. Guarding implies attack continues. Paul does not promise anxious thoughts will never return. He promises they will not overtake you. Picture a fortress under siege, arrows strike, enemies shout. But inside, there is calm because the gates hold. Peace does not silence noise. It fortifies stability. Victory becomes visible when anxiety no longer dictates your decisions. You may feel uncertainty, but you obey anyway. Hear fear, but pray anyway. Sense the unknown, but trust anyway. Peace is not absence of sensation. It is presence of surrender. What if the very thing causing your anxiety is the doorway to deeper intimacy? What if sleepless nights invite prayer? What if uncertainty positions you for revelation? As long as you cling to control, you carry the burden. When you release it, God carries you. Paul's prison expanded his influence. His chains amplified his message. Your anxious season may not be the end. It may be refining your faith. Here is the final confrontation. Anxiety questions God's character. Is he good, faithful, present, sovereign? If those answers waver, anxiety grows. If they become immovable, peace does too. Paul had settled them. He knew Christ, relationally. So when walls closed in, he did not panic. He leaned. Lean when you cannot see. Trust when you cannot predict. Pray when you cannot control. Give thanks when you cannot understand. Peace comes not from clarity, but closeness. The closer you draw to Christ, the smaller anxiety becomes. Not because problems vanish, but because his presence enlarges. The same peace that guarded Paul is available to you. The peace that surpasses understanding. That stands guard. That remains when answers delay. But it requires surrender, trust, release. What are you holding that God is asking you to release? What fear have you rehearsed instead of surrendered? What future are you trying to secure instead of entrusting? What if tonight, instead of spiraling, you knelt? What if thanksgiving replaced worst-case imagination? Victory over anxiety is a daily exchange. Fear for faith, control for surrender, imagination for truth. Each time you choose prayer over panic, peace rises again. So do not let this remain inspiration. Make it practice. When anxiety knocks, bring it before God. Name it. Release it. Thank Him before the answer. Fill your mind with truth, and watch as the peace of God guards your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. What fear are you ready to surrender today? Share it. Your testimony may become someone else's breakthrough. And stay connected, because God's Word is alive, and there is always more to uncover.